up at the man's surgeries and would like yell at
surgeries.
Him. Yes. Like this is
and yell at him.
Yeah, it's not
Bro, just like
no. Hold on. We're talking pre-op. We're talking. Any context here? Is my man getting shaved and then she's in there saying you're nothing and you're gonna die in there? Welcome back to another episode of Bred in Captivity Reactions. I'm your host, Raya.
Hi guys, it's B.
Quicker next time. And as usual, in Command Central and the Gem.
They don't let me leave here, but it's good.
She's our producer and our North Star. Anyhow, picking up where we left off in our last video, having watched and reacted to Baby Reindeer, everybody now knows that the woman who was supposed to be Martha in the show has been found out in real life, and she is Fiona Harvey. Well, that's what we all think so far. Nothing has been proven because she went on Piers Morgan to set the record straight. And if you watch that interview, I'm curious to know what you think about it. Please leave a comment. But do we want to start with what did you guys think? Because I have so many thoughts.
Well, did you watch it?
I did, and honestly, it was the way she was dodging every question that came towards her, and I gave up at some point when he was like, what grade did you get? How you, well, I did well. And I didn't get first class or anything. I was like, what did you get? Say something. So, no.
Why was he hooked on that question?
No, because
I think he was hooked on the fact that she wasn't answering the question.
Yeah, and the fact that she said she has a photographic memory, and why are you not remembering the exact... Oh, she's like, you want me to remember the exact grade I got for 13 courses that I took? What was the total, what I mean? What was the value?
Yeah, she contradicted herself so much, saying, oh, I remember everything, and then, oh, I'm so sorry, I don't remember.
Yeah.
That was entirely the premise of the interview.
So I'm like, okay, did you just come here to self-sabotage and prove to everybody that you are exactly, what we've been told in Baby Reindeer?
I thought it was going to be a lot worse than it was, if I can be honest with you guys. When they said that Fiona was coming on, after what I had seen of Martha on the show, I thought she was going to be a little bit more erratic, a little more all over the place, but I was actually really surprised with how composed she seemed overall. She didn't come across batty, but...
You think so?
The way that... there were some ways that she was answering questions it was a joke or things like that I was just like, she's not convincing. You know what I mean? I mean, if I hadn't seen Baby Reindeer,
yeah,
and I was sitting down talking to this woman without the full context of Richard's thing, and she was there just saying, it was a bunch of us making jokes over there, and I don't know how to put it. She was obviously lying, but that's because I have so much context. But if I try my best, and obviously I can't do it, but if I try my best to look at it as an independent thing, the woman seemed a little bit more together than what I was expecting, but the way she was falling apart, the specific way she was falling apart, had me thinking, you're her, there's no question about it. For example, she would be so bent on making sure she was sabotaging Richard's career, Richard's work, or belittling stuff. It was a wee sad show. You know what I mean? Just making sure. I'm pretty sure he's gay. I'm pretty sure he's a homosexual.
I feel like she was doing that because Baby Reindeer kind of showed a very, kind of intimate or private part that she thought was hers, to... it made it available to the public. So she's like, now let me kind of talk shit on his name and throw dirt on his name.
It brought me back to when Richard had essentially broken up with her in the show, and she turns on him, right? And she's outside, and she's like, you should see the Trumps he's dating. The way that she went on a campaign to besmirch him, and that... It felt like she was trying to subtly do that same thing without seeming obvious.
Yeah.
And I was kind of impressed that she had the nuance capacity to do that. That's what I mean. You know what I mean? She was like, I'm pretty sure he's gay. He had a wee sad show. It wasn't even that. What were you saying, Em?
So I have a couple of points in which her argument just started to fall apart, okay? She said that she'd only met Gad 2 or 3 times, that they met 10 to 12 years ago, and that essentially she thought he had some psychiatric problems, okay? When asked whether he offered her a cup of tea, she said...
Ace, please go home.
Oh no, I'm diabetic, and he interrupted a conversation. When she said that, it was something so minor, but automatically I was like, that's interesting. So you're already starting to paint him off, like you said, as a specific character.
There it is.
I wouldn't chase him. He was the one chasing me. Then, something weird. He's like, when she said whether she called him baby reindeer, she said, you know, that story about I had a toy reindeer, and that
it was a joke.
And that it was Christmas time or something, and he had shaved his head so he looked like her reindeer. My question is, if you've met somebody 2 or 3 times, how are you on a level so comfortable that you're now sharing these details and sharing a childhood, like, toy nickname with them?
Mm-hmm.
Yo.
Thank you.
Why you
Bro,
always
lying.
You're all over the place.
Why you always lying?
But she felt so sure that she was in control.
Yeah, the whole time. The whole time.
There were times where I could just see she was like convinced that she was convincing him. It felt like that way to me. I'm not a professional, but all I'm doing is observing. I didn't watch the interview once. I watched it 2 or 3 times. Then I was just zoned in. The way she was saying things was sort of her aligning herself with Piers and then therefore the audience when she was like, oh, he interrupted us. And honestly, that's rude, you know, like trying to get us to buy in,
exactly.
like, oh, what a jerk.
Exactly.
And then or her being like, he
like,
came
look
on
at this
to me.
man that you're all supporting.
You know
he's
what I'm
not
saying?
all that saint.
I don't go for little boys who don't have jobs. No offense.
Exactly. I'm a lawyer.
And so we're thinking, you know, she's painting him out to be a scrub. And I'm just, it was so fascinating that the entire time a recurring thought in my mind was Jennifer Gunning nailed this woman.
She embodied her.
She hadn't met her. And that's kind of what was and I see your hand, but that was blowing my mind.
She embodied this woman. It's crazy.
She took basically of her direction from Richard Gunn, and I think having somebody who was firsthand there to give you that direction as an actor would be incredibly helpful. But so talented, and she literally sold that role where I was concerned for Richard's safety, even though I'm like, yeah, no, you're not going to stop.
No, you can take all the instructions that you are given and whatnot, like. Just, it felt like, you know, she kind of embodied the whole spirit of this woman. Like, she was, it was so trippy.
I mean,
every little detail mimicked that woman. It was like,
you can get a framework of somebody, but how did you fill
how did you fill in the gaps? That's what I'm saying. You can have all the instructions you're given.
I have a theory. Sorry to cut you off, but Richard actually did a play for several years.
Okay.
Where it was a one-man show.
Okay.
And honestly, when you hear the words one-man show, I'm not trying to watch that.
I mean, some people really do well in their one-man shows.
I have never seen a one-man show executed well, and that's been my experience. But all the power to B, have you seen a one-man show?
Mm-mm.
I'm talking. I'm sitting there, okay, and I'm playing. Say I'm playing the first. This is a scene in a one-man show, okay, and I'm in a conversation with somebody at a bar, and I'm sitting there. I wonder how long I'm going to be forced to be in this town. I move over to another chair, okay? Unzip my shirt. Now I'm another character. This is a one-man show. It's still me. Let me get this.
This could happen.
I unzip my shirt.
I wanna go home.
No, so my first guy was like this, right? Like, I wonder how long I'm gonna be in this town. And then I unzip my shirt. The service here is terrible. I haven't seen a waitress all day. And then I'll turn into a third character. I'm the waitress now. I hate this job. I only have to work here because I'm in an abusive relationship. And then I zip my shirt up again. I go back to the first person. I'm only stuck in this town because I want to be a writer. I'm going to achieve my dreams someday. And then I'll go back.
I'm okay.
So that's a one-man show.
I am okay. You don't need to. No, I'm okay.
Yeah.
And so there are people out there buying tickets for these shows.
It's a whole genre.
No, for me, it's like I don't want to talk smack or shit about things that I have not seen. So that's why that was my only reasoning why I said like, oh, there might be some good ones and stuff like that, because I don't have an opinion. But hell no. Hell no, I'm not going there.
I was forced to see a show like that once when I was in high school at the Bluma Appel Theatre in Toronto. And when I tell you, I've never had such a what the fuck moment like as a teenager in my life. You've never seen a show like this. You're at a professional theater and we were going to see a play, but this was like one of the actors is like little exercise to show the kids some stuff. And when I tell you, my face was just like feeling such strong secondhand embarrassment for this woman. And she was in it because you have to commit.
Yeah. There's
nothing you have to commit. Anyhow, so Richard had a one-man show about baby reindeer.
Thank you. Richard
Gadd.
And
it was doing well.
Okay.
And so he was playing Martha in the show. So I'm saying Richard probably, I haven't seen it, but I'm gonna look it up. But Richard probably played the hell out of Martha in that one-man show. And so Jennifer, I'm sure, had that source material to draw from as well, as an actress.
Wait, so he did the one-man show after he met Martha?
No. His Netflix didn't just approach him. He wanted to do something with his trauma, and so he did the one-man show, and it blew up. And he won a very prestigious award. I forget the name of it, but I'll post it on the screen. And then Netflix saw the one-man show and said, we can make this a series. And then that's how he got approached and how they turned it into a series.
Good for you.
But back to the interview.
Yeah. So when she was pressed on the matter of the 41,000 emails, 350 hours of voice messages, 744 tweets, 48 Facebook messages, 106 letters, she said that's not true. And I sat down and did the math.
There's actual proof of that.
2 points. One, I did the math, okay? If it's 41,000 emails that she sent over, assuming like 6 months according to Richard Gadd, okay? And it's like 14 hours a day that she's awake, that's like roughly 18 emails a day, which is not a lot of emails if you consider the type of email she sent.
I had eggs.
Yeah.
When and where?
Yeah, yeah, you know what I mean?
She was texting. She was using emails.
The math is mathing over there.
She said something really interesting. She said that, oh, I didn't know at all where this guy lived. I didn't know about anything besides the fact that he worked there. But how the hell did you send letters to his address if you didn't know?
I caught that too.
Where he lived.
And this is what annoyed me about the Piers interview a little bit. But I'm trying to put myself in his perspective. Piers saw Baby Reindeer.
Okay.
So obviously he's not going to not do the interview. It's Piers Morgan, and he'll do anything for views.
Yeah.
But you probably also think to yourself, I don't want to like upset the woman too much. I don't want to press her too much because I want her to say as many things as she's going to say. So I was surprised.
So I'm going to play like the supporter as I interview her.
I'm not going to be too antagonistic. It was skillful. He did draw a lot of things out of her, and he did like give us a great glimpse into this woman. So all in all, I think he conducted the interview really well. But I was surprised that he chose to stick on the point of her grades and not something more obvious like how did you send him the letter?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Ask the right questions. You know what I mean? Like if you like ask the right probing questions, ask the right probing questions. Like sometimes, like, you know, honestly, interviewing is a skill.
Oh yeah.
And not a lot of people are skilled to interview. I'm not trying to throw shade at Piers, but like
I thought overall he did a great job.
Yeah, but
and I don't like Piers Morgan.
Same.
He went hard at Meghan Markle for like. He's like. She said no to a date with him, and this is a real story. Meghan Markle, the princess, or the former princess, said, no, I don't want to go on a date with you. And then he went on a campaign to destroy her. And he knows a lot of members of the royal family. They love Piers. They'll go to him and say, tell the story like this. and he's so honored to have a channel into the royal family that he was out there trashing Meg. Like, and then once he got called out on it on his own broadcasting network, and they're like asking him why he's going so hard at Meghan, or I forget the subject, but then he gets up and walks off the show in a hissy fit. And then the frigging hypocrisy is there. They're like, you couldn't handle 5 minutes of what you've been putting Meghan through for years.
Are you serious?
Oh, yes. So I'm not a Piers Morgan fan, but he does do some good stuff. Like, he's had a lot of good coverage. He's probably had the only decent mainstream coverage for Palestine. Oh, yes.
Ooh, too much.
Mad.
You were burning inside, and you were going to like a whole campaign.
So later on in the interview, when she explained that she had been urging people online to support his show and go to his comedy show, she said, we were trying to encourage him. I didn't think he was a complete psychopath who's going to attack me in this way. Again, coming down to my point, if you don't know the man, if you've only spoken to him 2 or 3 times, why would you be going online to promote his content?
Thank you.
Boom. Thank you.
And this whole thing about we were joking or we wanted to help him, why is she including herself in this man's friend group?
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously.
You're painting yourself as somebody who doesn't know him, but at the same time,
you're
phrasing things as though you have like a deep care in his life, that you know that he...
Yeah.
If I met somebody today at a bar and they're like, oh, I do a play, in one ear and out the other.
Okay, I mean, good for you. It was good seeing you. Thank you. Be on your way.
If I have nothing to do and then they said, oh, I'm doing this on Friday, I'll be thinking maybe I'll go. Maybe I'll take some friends and I'll go. But it's not going to be something that I go on Facebook.
No.
Oh, I met this man today. Or I'm on Instagram or what's called TikTok being like, oh, show up here. Make sure we show up and show up. Are you crazy? Which one is it?
Stalkerish.
Which one is it?
Which one is it?
So sorry, but do you guys pick up on the fact that he was like, how many email addresses do you have? 6 or 4?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I think 6 or I think 4. And he's like, are you sure?
Yes.
He's like, it's a lot. And he's like, I don't really know anybody with those many emails. And then she starts gaslighting Piers Morgan.
I know people.
I know a lot of people.
She said, I know people that had 4 or 5.
Don't. Why are you always
lying? No,
but you know what?
No, I wouldn't put it past her because she probably is hanging around with other stalkers. Like, maybe they have a community. Maybe they have a fucking community. You don't know.
I was waiting for her to bring out her phone and then be like, look, I have all these contacts, Beyonce. Because when she was in the bar, episode 1, first of all, it was probably the best episode.
I know.
People talk about episodes that happened later.
I know.
But episode 1 was a masterwork because it felt like 5 episodes.
I was talking to Steve. That's what you're talking about?
Yeah, and she's like showing it. No, when she brings up, I know what you're talking about, when she just mentions the name and he's like, as if I'm supposed to know them.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about, she takes out her phone and she's like, look, I have the Prime Minister. She's going
I didn't even see that part.
She's going through her contact list and it's full up of celebrity, of political names and stuff like that. I'm like, girl, you can save anybody's name as David Cameron.
You know what I mean?
So I was waiting for her to be like, Piers, I know a lot of important people. Look at my phone. And me just have my mom, dad, aunt, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Jay-Z. Like, I can show you right now.
I know them on first name basis. What can you say? Like, you know what I mean?
It's Jigger.
It's Jigger. Like, that's what.
Taylor's Tay-Tay.
It's like Roger from American Dad. I call him Jeremy.
Fucking liar. The Duvernay. That was her. Except Roger was messing around with a bunch of other families.
Bro.
And then she kept saying like, oh, it's been told to me. Girl.
Who's out here giving you information?
Someone told you about every scene in the show.
They were on the phone as they were watching it. And now he said that you have groped him very sexual. Okay, I don't feel comfortable talking about this. Fiona, I really don't feel comfortable talking about this.
I'm sick. What the fuck? I just
the actual fuck?
You're sick.
You're sick.
You're twisted.
I was like, what? Why are you not reacting?
I was like, is she trying to quote something from the show? And I'm like, oh yeah, I got it. This is the. And
hell no.
Okay, a little bit more about this interview. Fuck, I was gonna say something I totally spaced. When she was going on and on about how I haven't seen... fuck, bro. I was going to say something. I forgot. So, further along down the interview, Piers brings up the fact that this ain't her first rodeo. She's been accused of this type of behavior before from like other politicians and stuff in the UK. And she's flat out saying, oh, that's a total misunderstanding, that they're like blowing up out of proportion. And, you know, it didn't really happen that way. And she's bought in. She's locked in. And Piers is looking at her like, okay. And then he hits her with the whole, well, how many times do you think you like tweeted at him? Because she was saying, I never went to his house. I never tried to contact him by this. And he said, what about Twitter? Because her Twitter stuff is still up there.
I saw that. And they go back way.
Oh, yes. And then this leads to another question. Okay, so the Twitter stuff is up there. The whole meat curtains thing.
Yeah.
That happened. The whole tweet. So
that is okay. And like this leads me to another point where like okay,
same.
The thing is that Netflix or the guy, what is his name?
Richard
Gad. They did not hide anything. Okay. They just changed names and then they just had another woman play her character and that was it. But everything else, like it was verbatim, and that was like fucked up at some point because like we have a lot of stupid people out there.
Oh yeah,
in the internet,
and she got death threats.
Seriously, like just is it what?
So
what is your business with that shit?
So then this brings me to another question, right? When you're looking at this whole stalker and stalked relationship or dynamic, it's so easy in your head without the details that you get to see in Baby Reindeer to assume that the stalker is the villain, plain and simple. Richard is the victim, and he shouldn't have any responsibility to protect his abuser. But then you see the show, and it's really a lot more complicated than that, and I don't think that she deserves to be put on blast. But then there's a third side to this coin.
Ooh.
Homegirl's not trying to hide. I think she's loving this. And it's in the way that she's...
Okay, I am very sorry to cut you off here. Of course she's loving this. This woman, this is my opinion. Of course, I'm not diagnosing anybody, but... she's sick, okay?
Yeah.
She is sick, but she doesn't understand the magnitude of of this exposure that people have created for her. There are people that are crazy and weird outside, and you don't know like what kind of exposure, if it's negative or if it's positive or something like that. So I feel like I'm not happy the fact that she's she's loving the attention because she's not like just processing the information properly.
Well, I mean, we're assuming a lot of this based on the character of Martha. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's unfair of us to just put all these assumptions on Fiona as well, because all we have from Fiona is the interview and whatever she's made public and all of her tweets and stuff. And it doesn't paint the picture of a healthy person, I will admit.
Okay.
But ultimately it is her choice, right? And she's the one who's choosing to do the interviews. And I don't know if you guys have seen the Facebook pictures that are up. She is engaged.
Yeah.
She's on Facebook posting her every move. She's posting what she's doing. She's posting comments. She's posting she's replying to people. She's not trying to be
obscure.
You know what I'm saying? And then, and before you go, everyone has a beef with is this a true story or is this not? Like, are you making a part of this or are you not? And if the man is saying, I'm not making any part of this up, is it reasonable that we expect that he changes up a lot of what she was saying to him, what she was communicating to? I don't know. I'm fuzzing on this because I don't like what's happening to her, but I have a hard time pointing the finger at any party right now. It's just, I feel... What were you going to say, Em?
I was going to say, although, the facts on this case are not 100%. Mm-hmm. She has actually in the past been accused by other people of stalking with evidence. When in 1997 she worked at a Glasgow law firm, Laura Ray's law firm, as a trainee solicitor, and within a few days she was dismissed because Miss Ray thought that she had some very serious medical problems. She kept writing letters saying that she was desperate to come join me, and she sent her a congratulations card when she got engaged, started stalking her husband. It got to the point where he was afraid to even leave the house. And at some point, the 18-month-old son was also threatened, the safety of the son.
Yep.
So, you know what?
Is that the deaf kid? No.
From the scene in the bar where he's like, "Hey, mate, why don't you look something else up?"
Yeah, I think that's what it. Actually, I think that's what it was talking about. Yeah. And then, she turned up at the man's surgeries and would like yell at him. Yes. Like it was. This is.
And yell at him.
Yeah, it's not.
Bro, just like
no. Hold up. We're talking pre-op. We're talking. I need context here. Is my man getting shaved and then she's in there saying you're nothing and you're gonna die in there? Or is he coming out and she's like, "Oh, you lived, did you, nipple?" You lived because I let you live, nipple.
When she was.
I
don't know if she was calling people reindeer from Jump or this guy's special, but I know nipple is out there.
Yeah, maybe that's where it all started. And when she was fired, she had to be escorted out of the building, and she sat outside of the building for half an hour screaming, which also kind of confirms. I mean,
yeah, you can do anything when you're white.
Yes,
you can do whatever you want when you're white. Because let me scream on one corner for 90 consecutive seconds, and they have SWAT.
Oh, I'm so sorry to divert again. Yes, on that point, there was this like video circling in the internet where this lady is like, "Why are you lying? Why are you lying? Why are you lying? But why are you lying?" Like you.
To these police officers.
Yeah, to the police officers. This lady is going through.
I saw that.
Grief. Yeah. Okay, and she has just lost her baby, and she is in her premises. She's in her house destroying her own
Give some context. So there's this video circulating of this woman who is the woman herself is taking a video, and she is showing like she's filming these police officers who are just standing there in her house, and she's like, "Why are you lying? Why are you lying? Why are you lying?" And so when I saw it on Twitter first, and people were like, "Oh, this lady's crazy. Who would ever put up with this behavior?" Like all supporting the cops. And then I go into the comment, and there's context now. The police are there because the woman is breaking things. What things is she breaking? Her own things. Where is she breaking them? In her house. Why is she breaking them? Her baby just died, and she's in grief, and she's dealing with it how she wants to deal with it, in the privacy of her own home, risking only her own belongings. And so when the police come there, they're obviously trying to say some snake shit to drag her to jail or something, because they love getting somebody in jail. That's a whole other thing in the States.
There's this
crazy.
There's this part that just broke my heart, where like she's like screaming at this black cop, and and he's like she just like comes close to him, and she's like trying to like talk to him, but she's like obviously, you know, screaming and whatnot and emotional, and he's like reaches for his gun, bro. Yeah.
And he's like happy,
and she's like, I wish you would, and he's like, I'm like, just don't come close to me, don't go.
Then get out of my house, then get out of my fucking house. How about the videos like that trigger me so much that if I don't see a lawsuit immediately after,
I was gonna say, I immediately have to go look up the same title and then lawsuit.
That's the second Google search every time. Yeah. Because I need to know that they got some type of justice, because policing in the States is becoming something of like a worldwide phenomenon, like where we're all just watching what's going on there. And I'm not saying police in other countries are great, but the States has an issue with their cops, and I got to wonder, because I don't believe they start off bad.
They're trigger happy.
Something is happening because I refuse to believe that every single person who says to themselves, "I want to be a cop," has bad intentions. I want to believe that most of these people think that they're going to go and become like some honorable person, but they get into a system where once you're in there,
it's like already set up culture.
You either play ball or you're out. And it's hard for somebody who has a wife, a kids, a mortgage, and they just got this job, they just got this salary,
so you're gonna play ball.
To say, "Oh, do the honorable thing and lose your whole life, but stand up." Like, that's tough.
Yeah, no, you're gonna play ball.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I had just remember this tea, and I have to bring it back to you because I remember seeing it online. Do you guys know Heather Burns, the actress?
What is she in? Oh, yes, I know Heather Burns.
This is what she looks like.
Yes, I know Heather Burns.
Who's that? I can't see.
Just
that
name a movie she was in.
Miss Congeniality.
She was the one that won. Did you ever watch Miss Congeniality?
With Sandra Bullock?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember when she rips the crown off of the winner? Because the winner, that's her.
Okay.
What about this girl?
Okay, so Heather Burns worked, before she was an actress, she worked in Glasgow in a psychiatric facility, all right? Guess who Heather Burns was stalked by at this psychiatric facility?
No.
Yes! Our girl Fiona
No.
Stop it.
I'm gonna let that settle in. The
Yo, no.
actress,
I
an
wanna-
actual human being that is in the public limelight, wrote the article in detail about how.
I want to say something. This is, that part in the series where he goes to the police finally, and then the guy's he's like, just Google her, and then the guy was like, why didn't you say something? I feel like that just
was
happened.
one of the funniest moments in the
I've
show,
ever seen, yeah.
where he finally says, "Just look up her name," and the cop's like, "This Martha? Like,
Why didn't you say something?
get in the back. Get in the fucking back right now. Like, did she follow you here? Does she know you're here right now?
Yeah.
Does she have your number? Does she have the number?
Oh, that is crazy,
All
my
right,
guy.
Okay, I have more. I have another piece of tea for you. Go ahead.
Let me spill this, all right? So one of the things that she was responsible for, weirdly enough at the time, was being put in direct contact with psychiatric patients. Okay?
Oh.
Martha, became so obsessed with her, and when Heather Burns went to the facility...
Fiona, you mean?
Fiona, sorry.
Okay, yeah.
Fiona became so obsessed with Heather Burns, she went and tried to complain to her superior, and it was like a thing. It was a running joke that everybody knew that she was a difficult stalker, and they would be like, oh my God, you have her this week? Thank God, I'm good.
They're like,
She's a difficult stalker. What is that?
she went into the
What is that?
she went into the break room. Okay, she's like, Matt, thank God you're here. I have to talk to you about Fiona. Do you have some time? And then everyone looks over. Oh, you have Fiona?
Oh my God.
And then Matt's like, look,
Oh my God.
I promised the team that when I hire a new person, they would all get a break.
Oh my God. Yo.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm sorry, sir. I don't want that promise from you. I've got Fiona on my back.
So Heather Burns said, again, a familiar pattern, that she used to get calls harassed by Fiona over the phone, where she's belligerent, screaming between tears, "Where are you? I need to see you right now, Heather.
Fuck no.
Heather, hello? Heather.
Fuck no.
Heather."
Don't be calling me by my first name. Okay?
Fuck no.
This is a professional environment, and you need to call me Nurse Burns. You understand that? That's number one. Heather. Who do you even think you are?
Calling me by my
Guys,
first
she
name.
had to barricade herself in a building because Fiona would not leave her alone. And the coworkers found it so hilarious, they were literally just laughing at her.
She barricaded.
Yeah.
She barricaded herself in a building, and what? Fiona was outside banging on a door?
Fiona would not let her leave. This was a pattern where when Fiona knew when she was working, she would show up there and kind of like harass her, and where to the point where she had to stay hours past her shift because she
What
just
do you mean show up there? Was she loitering?
She
or was she
was a
patient?
patient there. She was a psychiatric patient, and the patients had so much like available access to Heather Burns being a receptionist or doing admin work at the time.
So she would come from her suite in the, like where she was staying in the how are they letting her leave?
I think it was an outpatient service. I'm not.
What do you mean
100%
showing
sure.
up? You should be there.
Yeah, because when she wasn't physically there, she'd be calling her.
I need to know where you are. Ain't no leaving this place.
All the time, bro.
No, I need to know where you are. I'm not letting you out into the wild.
The voices in my head.
What?
It ain't safe. It ain't safe. It ain't safe.
What?
It ain't safe. Tell that bitch.
It ain't safe in the hallways.
No. If I were Heather Burns, I'd have sued the crap out. What do you mean laughing? So she would have to barricade herself, and what? Because Fiona was on the prowl.
Yes,
Fiona was banging on the
because she
door?
was obsessed with her. She would not leave her alone.
I'm trying to imagine what is the scenario that I had to get behind a locked door. Because what? Was she trying to put hands on me?
happening? Wait, how long was this happening for?
You know what? That's a really good question, and I don't know if it stated that, but she quit her job very, very, very quickly.
You have to remember your oath in those situations, yo, because I'd want to do something.
Oh my
she
God,
was
no.
not a medical professional, so she could have technically done something.
No, like Soraya means I'm gonna hurt somebody.
Yeah, that's not right, bro. That's not right.
Yeah.
So the ball's on Fiona. And this is why I say she loves it. Because somebody who has all this history isn't coming on Piers Morgan to clear the air. Because Heather Burns is not some nobody.
But then this is what I'm saying, that you have to you can't help but consider the fact that this woman is sick. How could you not sit down and think that you can be Googled? All this information is available to everybody.
Absolutely.
To her, it's more important to be interesting.
But it's the Lulu land, man. That is craziness. That's what I'm telling you. Like a normal. Okay, I don't even know what normal is, and I'm not going to define what normal is, and it's going to be. I'm way too open-minded for me to say she's not normal, but I swear to God, some actions are just
she's
like
not normal.
Some actions can be considered really irrational or not thought through or something. I don't know. The fact that she's ignoring that anybody can Google, or maybe she thinks that all that information is fabricated or something like that.
She's 41,000 emails away from being.
Maybe she honestly also believes that nobody's going to believe it.
She's so confident in herself.
So we're all stupid.
Yeah,
she went out there and she's like, I'm going to spend. And it's worth it for her to go out there and just shit on Richard.
Yeah,
but because that's what she lives for. And do you think? So you're saying like maybe Piers shouldn't have done it?
No, I'm just saying.
I'm asking your opinion.
I'm not hating on the interview.
I'm saying. Do you think she should have done it given what you think of her mental state?
That interview had to happen, but the thing is that it just gave us a different perception of who Fiona really, really is.
Well, they might be regretting it now because she started stalking somebody at the network.
Damn! No!
She started stalking somebody at the network.
No, for real?
She started stalking somebody at the network.
No, I didn't even read about it. When did this happen?
Immediately after she got there.
So how did she get access to all this information?
What do you mean? It was the guy that was communicating with her. This guy right here.
And he used his personal email?
His work email got bombarded. Look at this guy. This is him. Okay? Had to book her calls and stuff like that. And then she turned on him the second he tried to set boundaries. Watch this. I'm going to read this to you, okay? Daily Mail journalist Neil Sears claimed earlier this month that he received a 4-day barrage of calls and voicemails from Gad's real-life stalker. Although he didn't name the woman. Obviously, it's Fiona. On social media, she went on to denounce him as a flat-out liar, an overgrown bipolar schoolboy, and said she was considering charging 3,000 euros, about 5,100 Canadian dollars, an hour for the time she spent talking to the network and Piers. Okay, so the guy, Neil, he says that within 10 minutes of the interview, the calls began.
No,
within 10 minutes of the interview, 5 plus 5, the calls began. So it started with 3 calls on his short drive home. My guy has a short, little, quick drive home. 3 phone calls to his work cell phone number.
I would feel so nervous calling a producer even once. 3 times?
That's just the drive home. 10 the next day.
And you're telling me this woman...
10?
And you're telling me this woman doesn't need to be behind a psychiatric hospital.
Should have stayed there talking about in and out outpatients.
Inpatient. No, go ahead.
14 the day after that, and 24 the day after that from a no-caller ID after he stopped taking her calls.
So she's already 15% of the way, where Richard Gadd was, too. She's saying it's impossible while doing the impossible.
This girl, it's as if we're watching, you know how serial killers have, a modus operandi, you know what I mean? This is her signature. This is what she does. This is her move. So anyhow, he says, when I fail to answer...
she doesn't give a fuck.
She's going to turn it on you and say she said, when he came out and said this, she called him a bipolar schoolboy, and I should have charged her 5 G's for the thing.
If gaslighting was a human being, boom.
It would be her. So he said, when I tried to stop taking her calls, I got a bunch of calls from unknown caller ID. I don't know what that means. I'm dumb. And then, what's it called? she went on to say that the tone of the calls changed when he became public about the fact that he wrote an article about how she was treating him. And then he said that once he did that, everything changed, the tone of the calls. Damn. She was like, I'm going to call the police if you ever approach me. I'm suing you in that newspaper. And the bimbo who wrote the article with you, she hates women.
Oh, familiar.
She doesn't like women.
Very she familiar. Hates women and she's a racist.
Oh, she's crazy racist. Sink them all on the horizon. Like, what happened to reindeer and all that stuff? What happened to nipple? Okay.
Say what you will. This woman is not okay.
She went on. She said, I'm going to demand that they sack you, like fire you from the newspaper. That's how they say it over there, I guess. I don't like you. I've never liked you.
You don't even know him. You've known him for a fucking few, probably weeks or something like that during the communication.
She said the same thing about Richard Gadd.
Let me tell you something. She doesn't belong in prison. She belongs in a
mental institution. Yeah.
I'm serious. She needs proper help. Like, I'm serious. And she needs to be studied. Her
Facebook posts are exactly the same kind of typing, even today, as what it was in Baby Reindeer. Weirdly misspelt words. The last...
Sent from my iPhone?
Not that I've seen yet.
Those messages.
But what you'll see is like the last letter of a word goes to the first letter of the next word. So if she's spelling the, it'll be TH, and then E is on the next word and stuff. Like, just it was... And this guy said when she was emailing him, because he got emails too, they didn't want to say how many emails, that it was spelled that way too. And Piers Morgan, they asked him. So, oh my God, I got to show you one thing. Piers Morgan had a little interview with a bunch of YouTube, not a bunch, like 2 YouTube content creators and a psychiatrist or something like that. And then this one alien-looking black chick who was obviously drunk. Get your phone out. I need to show you this.
Your Latter-day Saints sisters are after me.
I just saw that. What the fuck?
Yes.
Like,
I just saw a text from them.
Like Mormons?
Yes.
How did they get your number?
They met me in the bus and I was just too nice.
Put your mic up when you say these things. Don't waste don't waste content.
They are Mormon sisters after me.
Hey, Berlin, these are your sister missionaries. Church is at 20...
See, so what we're learning right now is that it's not good to be an extrovert and give your number to random people on the bus.
Where did
because
you meet these Latter-day Saints?
Could be Latter-day Saints.
On the bus.
If you meet Latter-day Saints in the future, ask them one question and they'll leave you alone. What does it say about black people in your Bible?
But why did they talk to me?
They think that you're going to be fine being a second-class citizen.
Tell them what it actually says about black people, what's going to happen to them, or what they need to do in order to gain.
Like, you need to do the work now so that your skin can get white and delightsome in the future.
So you better start working hard now, bitch.
Okay, let's get into it. So, I want you to look at this woman. This is not the hairstyle for somebody with the shape of this head and neck. She's drunk, and I'm trying to just...
She's drunk?
You are the only person on planet Earth that's saying that it's fictionalized.
Gentlemen, allow me to finish.
You can't just keep saying the same thing everybody.
So, fictionalize. What you want, gentlemen, is the caption at the beginning. True.
What are you talking about?
But
what the my God.
So
not
it gets worse.
Walk around.
It gets worse.
You want the full sentence.
This docu-series,
but fictionalized.
this
I already told you it's
docu-series is
fictionalized. They did it in the
pointless if it's not
interview, saying
true.
that you don't want to hear that. And class it true. That is a lie because you are an extremist.
The way I felt such secondhand embarrassment.
Oh, and as a black woman, no.
She's the only woman on there. I'm like, bitch.
No.
Only woman and you're black. Like, who chose you? Why are you the representation?
Where are you from? Where are you from? Who brought you here?
The way she was dancing in her chair. Girl.
Fictionalize. What the fuck was that? Fictionalize.
What were you doing?
What she was doing was lines in the bathroom before the shot was taken because there's no other explanation as to why you act so erratic.
Crossfaded, and like there's no doubt about it. Oh my God, my hearing just opened up.
Stay in school, don't do drugs.
For real.
I think we're gonna wrap it here. We've been on this for a minute. If you hung out this long, Thank you so much.
Like, it's free, guys.
Okay, yeah. And make sure you comment, and subscribe. It's free. Why am I blanking? See you next time.
Thank you so much for being part of it. Please, if you like it, give it a like, subscribe, and see us next time in our next video. Peace!
Great job, B. Excellent job, Berlin.